Welcome back, everyone, to the A.D.D. show, where we're not always right, but we're never wrong. As always, I'm Mark.
And I'm Hans, and welcome back, everybody. Today we have a very fun fantasy episode for everybody.
Yep.
We're going to be doing, we actually have guests on. I'll let Mark introduce them in a minute. You guys have heard from them before. We're going to be having our top 10 at each position, except for each of us four have a different positional group.
Yes.
One of us has quarterbacks, running backs, tight ends, and wide receivers. So we're going to give all of you guys our top 10 at each position, our sleeper at that position, and two rookies we think are going to probably do very well at that position. So, yes. Mark, if you'd like to introduce our guest today.
So everybody knows, welcome back, Nate and Logan. How you guys doing today?
Doing well, guys.
Good. It's been a while since we've had you on, but we're gearing up for fantasy season, and this is when we all start talking a lot more. And we got fantasy football coming up. We've got our, hopefully Logan can get the draft lottery going soon, and we can find out where, I pick, so I can find out what pick I lost in the third round.
Yeah, I'm excited to see too, because I just made a big trade, as you talked about on the show, and
yep.
Took some talking at 4 a.m. to get it done, but it was worth it, in my opinion.
Hey, fantasy football never sleeps.
I've been doing mock drafts and just trying to wrap my head around what's going on with this season and how crazy it's going to be.
Yes.
It's always unpredictable, and there's always these guys that come out of nowhere, and then there's the guys that you think you can draft high, and then they get hurt, or they just don't live up to the expectations that they should. So I'm excited for the season, man.
Yeah, so we're all in keeper leagues, correct? Are any of us going to be in a league where you're doing a redraft?
Nate and I think Nate and I are in our buddy Justin's league. That's also in this league that we're talking about, and it's a 12-person team, one keeper, but you only keep that player in the round that they were drafted in. So, like, if I took Cam Akers in the 7th round last year, that would be my keeper for next to the draft.
But that would also count as a 7th round pick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's cool. Because I'm looking at it, and I'm saying if you do not get running backs in the first 2 rounds, you're really going to struggle.
We've said that every year, and the teams like me, you, and the guys here that do that would do better.
It's a struggle because wide receivers deep.
I did see a mock today
deep
on the ESPN fantasy show where I want to say it was Mike Clay went 4 straight rounds without a running back. He took whatever was best available at each position, and I looked at his team and I was like, that's not really a bad team. He had some decent the running back depth was weaker, but he got 3 number 1 wide receivers essentially with his number 9 pick, and you can't go wrong with that at all. I was like, okay, but you don't really have any running backs.
Yeah. So, but
I think the theory should be if the top running backs go right before you, then you take the best wide receiver available, end up with 3 number 1s, and then try to work a deal. Try to backdoor a trade somewhere.
Yeah. So, as Christian stated, we all took a position. I got tight ends. Nate got quarterbacks. Christian got running backs, and Logan got wide receivers. So I'm going to read tight ends first. Logan will go second with his wide receivers. We'll all chime in here and there to see if we agree, disagree.
You do like 2 at a time or something?
Yeah, 2 at a time, 3 at a time. I mean, tight end for me, the bottom part was a lot harder than the top part. But my 10 and 9 is Goddard, then Pitts.
Okay.
I had a hard time putting Pitts in the top 10.
Yeah.
Only because the only reason why is fantasy version tight ends. Nobody's ever in the no rookie's ever been in the top 10.
Yeah.
But he's just an incredible talent, and getting rid of Julio, I think they're going to put a lot on him early, and I think he's going to excel.
We hope, yeah.
But I have Goddard only down at 10. He's been probably a top 10 tight end, higher. But I don't like the quarterback. If Wentz was there, Goddard would be a lot higher.
Yeah.
But Goddard to me is borderline top 10 tight end this year. You guys disagree, agree?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay.
So with Julio Jones not being there, and then just having Ridley and Russell Gage, I mean, you have Hayden Hurst, sure, but he didn't have the year that everybody was expecting. You think that Kyle Pitts is really going to fall? He's really only going to be the tight end 9? I mean,
do.
Matthew Berry and Mike Clay and, all of the other experts have him around like tight end 4 to 6. So I'm just curious as to your reasoning, other than the fact that rookies don't ever really do it.
Can I go real quick? Because I was listening to the same thing today, the fantasy show, and Mike Clay came on along with not Matthew Berry, Yates, and said that they might have had Pitts drafted a little too high in a lot of leagues, that they think it's a hype, that he is really talented, but I think seeing him go before rounds 5, 6, 7 is a little ridiculous. Seeing the tight ends that are there with more track record available, that there's a chance he doesn't learn the offense. There's a chance that he takes a year of regression in his rookie year. We don't know. So I think putting him 8, 9, 10 is appropriate, with knowing that there's a chance that he could be the number 1 wide tight end.
Yeah.
It's just hard to put him, I think for me, anywhere if I had tight ends past 8, knowing we know nothing about him in the NFL.
Well, the only reason why, so my reasoning, Nate, is because I don't know what type of offense they're going to run. Word is they're going to be run heavy, 2 tight ends. So for me, I feel like Hurst is going to get less attention than Pitts. Now, he's faster than any linebacker. He's bigger than most cornerbacks. I feel if they decide to...
monster.
Right, but I feel if they decide to spread him out and use him more of like a young... the guy that used to play for New Orleans, Jimmy Graham. Like a young Jimmy Graham. If they use him like that, he's probably top 5. But I want to see what type of offense. So going off it right now... I'm putting him 9th based on talent alone, not knowing the offense that they're going to run.
That's totally fair.
So 8 and 7. I don't know why this person isn't in the top 8 in rankings in all the rankings that I've looked. He's not even in the top 10. I've got Hunter Henry at 8, and I got Noah Fant at 7.
I think
Henry's not up there because he's also in an offense with Jonnu Smith, and he's been Cam Newton throwing the ball
several years as well, so we don't know how his injuries are going to affect his play and all that,
Right.
I give you that. He's dirty when he's healthy.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
And my thing is like everybody's like, well, Cam's the quarterback. Cam and Greg Olsen had a great career together. And I feel, yes, Jonnu Smith is going to get... They say he's better offensively than Hunter Henry. I don't see it.
No, I don't. I mean, maybe.
I see the Patriots running the offense that they ran when they had Gronk and Hernandez, and I see Henry being that Hernandez guy where Jonnu Smith is the Gronk guy where he's blocking more. That's just me. That's why I have Henry so high. And I think Noah Fant... The only reason why he's not in my top 5 is because I don't know who his quarterback's going to be. He is.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
He is ridiculous. He's ridiculously good, and I feel that he's easily could finish a top 5 tight end this year. So 6 and 5. So 6, I have a guy that I've been reading up a lot on because ESPN Fantasy Football did a couple articles on him. And I feel that he's going to be able to get open more this year with the wide receivers that they've added and the people coming back. And I think Logan Thomas at 6, and I've got Mark Andrews at 5.
Okay. I don't disagree with either one of those.
Yeah, no, I would 100%. As a Washington fan, that's right where I have him.
Okay. Yeah. And are you guys okay with Andrews 5 instead of being 3 or 4?
He's Lamar's favorite target.
Yeah, I mean, I had him at 6 on my ranking, but yeah, 6, 5, and 6 is coin toss,
Okay. All right. So then, I mean, top 4, I think will all have the same names. I got Hawkinson at 4 and Kittle at 3. And the only reason why I have Kittle at 3 and not at 2 is because injury history.
Yeah.
I want to see him play. If he plays 16 games, he could easily be the number 1 tight end. Easy. Hawkinson... Goff in the past doesn't like throwing to the tight ends, so I hope he doesn't take a regression, but he's the best pass catcher on the team.
Yeah.
And so I think...
He's only gotten better with the whole tight end university thing.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of tight ends have improved a lot.
Yeah. And then bottom line, 2 and 1, Waller and Kelsey.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I don't even think it's close. I don't think Kelsey has anybody that's close to him, to be honest.
Unless Kittle's healthy.
Yeah.
If Kittle's healthy, yeah.
Kittle's healthy, yeah. But I think these guys, I think the top three are, if you have them and you're in a keeper league, I almost say that it's almost, you almost have to keep
I think
them.
depending on the depth of the league, if it's 12 teams, you could potentially keep Hawkinson too.
If I had Mahomes and Kelsey, they would be my keepers.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now would you keep Waller and Kittle?
Oh, yeah. I'm definitely keep both of them.
Okay.
I'm keeping one of them in a league.
Yeah.
I think I have Kittle.
In the
4-team league. I'd probably keep him in a 2-team
One of
league.
them in my best running back because wide receivers are deep.
Yeah.
Wide receivers are deep. If you have a good running back and a top tight end, you have no choice but to keep a top tight end because they drop quickly unless you're trying to go with like a Jarwin or an Uzoma later in like the 15th round, which is good, but it's not a tight end number 1 or 2. It's still rough.
So the rookies I have, obviously, I think Pitts is going to be the best rookie.
Yeah.
The other rookie I have, I think this kid is going to have a great second half because he's not gonna start over Ebron. And he's... Jeez, Christian, tighten up, man. He's not going to start over Ebron, but he's going to play a lot, I feel, in the second half. And that's Pat Freiermuth for Pittsburgh. Big Ben loves tight ends. He loves tight ends. And he is going to be... I think he's going to have a good second half because I think it's going to be the type of second half where he learns the offense. And he's going to really break out in the second half of the year. So those are my two rookies. Any arguments or?
Yeah, I agree with that.
No, Freiermuth reminds me a lot of Dallas Clark back in the Manning, Indianapolis days. So.
Yeah, and you could do a hell of a lot worse than Dallas Clark if that's who you're comparing him to. That's, so my sleeper. I will tell you guys, I was going to pick somebody. I have him written down. But I went a different way because this guy is ranked out of the top 12 by the experts, out of the top 10, 12. And they just traded away the veteran that's been there. And I think that's because this guy's ready to break out. I've got Irv Smith as my sleeper for Minnesota. I think he was in that draft with Fant and Hawkinson. Am I correct on that?
He was.
And I feel that those three, like you couldn't discern between those three in the draft. And I really feel like he had games where he really connected with Kirk Cousins. He was hurt here and there, but I really feel like he is going to pop off this year, especially since you're going to have a lot more attention on Jefferson. Thielen's going to grab that attention. You can't sleep on Cook. Coming out of the backfield. So I really think Irv Smith can be a really good red zone and security blanket for Kirk Cousins. I am going to throw the name in there, though, because if he makes the team, watch out for Thaddeus Moss. That connection there with Joe Burrow.
Thad Moss's stat line every game will be like 2 receptions, 20 yards, 1 touchdown.
Every game? Damn, there'd be a lot of touchdowns.
but they're putting him in. They're running a lot of him in there instead of I can never say his name, so I'm not going to even try to. Yeah, I can never.
Yeah.
So
no.
Uzoma?
Whatever it is.
So, but that's a tight ends. Like I said, the top 5 is. I personally don't see anybody coming into the top. Maybe Jonnu Smith can go into the top 10. I really think Irv Smith is going to finish in the top 10.
Now, I will say one, if you don't mind. I did my tight end list. It's the only one I'd gotten to because I was so busy today. I don't have them in my top 10, but as somebody I have as potential to be right there in the top 10, and I'm doing a homer pick here, but I'm doing it with Dalton Schultz from Dallas. The only reason I'm saying that is because of the powerhouse of the offense. He had the 11th most yards last year, low on the touchdowns.
Isn't Blake Jarwin coming back?
Blake Jarwin's coming back too, but I don't know who they're starting. They used 2 tight ends. But when they were both on the field the year before Jason Witten was there, they both had 600 yards, one had 500. Now, I know that's not a lot.
Which wide receiver is going to sit if you go 2 tight ends?
Well, that's the thing. I'm just using them to somebody that I think when one of them was injured, which neither one has played more than a few games together. If you're using one or the other, I think with this offense, I think it's not a bad pickup later in rounds. Obviously not top 10, but for somebody who like an Uzoma, who may not be getting looked at because there's so much other talent, he could be a potential pickup. Like I'm putting him in that sleeper kind of later range that I had in my list as a sleeper pick, but not going to get enough credit.
Did you do any research, Mark, on the sleeper I sent you after I texted you individually?
Yes, and the only reason why I don't like it is because tight end for Seattle isn't used. But
look at what Will Dissly did 2 years ago. And the thing that I love about Gerald Everett in Seattle this year is, one, he's young. He's incredibly fast, and Russell Wilson is going to be the best quarterback he's ever played with. And their offensive coordinator was the tight ends coach and passing game coordinator for LA. So Pete Carroll's already come out and said he knows the offense better than anybody. He's faster than, all of our linebackers. He burnt Bobby Wagner in coverage already, making a one-hand grab. I don't know. I think Gerald Everett has a lot of later round value, or maybe he's a waiver wire pickup. Right before week 1, if someone gets hurt or if there's like a lingering injury or something to somebody from preseason, I just think he has a lot of value later round, and I think he has the potential to be top 12, top 10.
Okay.
There's one tight end that I'm surprised that wasn't even honestly in your top 10 mark, and this dude had almost 600 yards last year and 11 touchdowns, and that's Robert Tonyan. He's easily in my top 10.
Who's his quarterback? Who's his quarterback? I can't put you in the top. It's just like Devontae Adams for me isn't ranked number 1 at wide receiver because I don't know who his quarterback is.
As of right now, Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback. So if we're going off that,
no, he's not.
He's not even at camp. I mean, if you're going to say that he's going to be a top 10,
being the quarterback, I think they both will be in the top 10 in their respective positions.
Right. If Rodgers plays, Tanyan's a top 10. But me, for right now, I'm going off of what the rosters look like right now. And Aaron Rodgers is, is he in North Dakota right now getting ready for the golf tournament?
I'm not sure what he's doing.
But so that's why I didn't put him. The only person I honestly struggled with was I really wanted to put Higbee in there.
Yeah.
Because I think getting Stafford in there is going to only improve him. Because Stafford has always thrown to tight ends. But Tanyan, I agree. Tanyan's a top 10 tight end if Rodgers plays. If it's Love or Bortles,
we don't know anything about Love.
You're not a top 10 tight end.
Yeah.
And that's just me.
Bortles.
Bortles got a playoff win though.
But now transitioning into probably the toughest rankings, which is wide receiver, because I think you can make an argument for the top 20 wide receivers all to finish top 10.
Oh yeah.
But so Logan, I didn't envy you, but if you have DK Metcalf number 1, the next time I see you, I will slap you.
DK Metcalf top 5. I will slap
you guys do not have to worry about that.
He took him out because he knew he was coming on the show.
So, yeah, this is definitely a struggle. So I had 15 guys written down, and 14 out of the 15 guys had over 1,000 yards. Or no, 13 out of 15 had 1,000 yards. So it's definitely tough. So with number 10, I'm going to put in Allen Robinson, and I feel like Andy Dalton is going to start the first few games with Chicago, and then he'll get the ball to Robinson, but he'll make mistakes, and Robinson won't get the volume that he should get. And then Justin Fields will come in, and Robinson and King will have that connection. And I think they'll do pretty well together. And then by number 9, I got to go with my boy Scary Terry. I mean, look at the numbers he's put up the last 2 years with absolute dog crap of quarterback play. And he was 1,000 yards last year and just barely under 1,000 yards the rookie season. And Fitzpatrick, by all means, is not a great quarterback. He's Fitzmagic. He has these flashes in the pan, and he'll get the ball downfield. He's not scared to throw it downfield. And Terry is one of the best at 50-50 balls, and he will get his points. He breaks tackles. He gets the yak, and he can score when he's throwing the ball. So that's who I have at number 9.
I will say, if you've had dog crap quarterbacks when he hit 1,000 yards, he should definitely hit 1,000 with Ryan Fitzpatrick too.
Oh, absolutely.
So I think that's a very solid place to put him. Yeah, that's a solid place to put him. I mean, if they had like a Deshaun Watson or an Aaron Rodgers, he'd be a number one wide. He'd be the number one pick probably in this draft. Yeah. But I still think he's super. Like the ceiling for him is so high. Like he's nuts. Yeah. I don't want to play him. So I think if I did my wide receivers, I'd have him like 6 or 8, like somewhere around there. But 9 is very comfortable. Okay. I think he's very good.
I want to hear what the rest of his is before I comment. So
well, I know, but we did 2 at a time, then commented.
No, yeah, I know, but yeah. I'm waiting to critique
gotcha.
before I hear the rest. So.
All right. I'm with Mark because this one's hard.
Yes.
All right, so number 8, I have DK Metcalf. So, I mean, DK, like, yes, you guys say, like, he's just a one-trick pony, and I'm not getting into that debate today because I just don't have the energy to have this debate, and I'm going to get shit on the whole time, so just not having it. But he can get the ball. He's fast as hell. He can score touchdowns, and he had 1,300 yards last year, and that's where a lot of his points come from are the long touchdowns, the long receptions, and he's getting, I think he's averaging like 6, 7 catches a game. So, I mean, he's averaging, what was it, like, I don't know.
Well, they kind of like it, both average over 17 yards.
Yeah, it's insane. So he averages anywhere between 15 and 25 points every week, and that's somebody that you would definitely want to have on your team. And then coming in at number 7, I have A.D. Brown. And with Julio being there, he's not going to be focused on as much because they're going to have to worry about the freak over there on the other side of the field. So that's going to open the window up for A.D. Brown because you can't double him and leave Julio single covered or vice versa. So that's what I have coming in at number 7.
I think that's too low, but I'll wait for the rest.
Yeah.
All right. Number 6, I have Calvin Ridley, since it's pretty much going to be him and Kyle Pitts down in Atlanta. Calvin is fast. He's like, how tall is he? Like 6'1"?
Yeah.
I think
he's short.
Yeah, he's not like a very big receiver, but he is a playmaker receiver, and he's going to get his share of receptions and yards and touchdowns. So, I mean, between 5 and 7, I could put any receiver in any of those positions. But I'm just thinking about, like, volume at this point. That's why I have him one spot higher than A.J. Brown, because there's several guys in Tennessee that could get the ball. And then Atlanta, it's just like pretty much 2 guys, and you can throw Hayden Hurst in there for short yardage. And then number 5, I have Justin Jefferson, who came out of absolutely nowhere last year. He rookie record, deep threat. He can do it all. I think he is on pace to become a top 3 receiver in the league. Not necessarily this year, but in the next 2 to 3 years, he's going to be up there like with like Devontae Adams and DeAndre Hopkins, and you guys know what I'm saying. So then number 4, I have DeAndre Hopkins. I think he's just like at the point in his career where he's that veteran leadership. He's still going to get it done. He's that possession guy who you can always rely on, and he's going to get the touches. And then also with AJ Green being there, and hopefully he's healthy, that could like even each other out. And then number 3, Tyreek Hill, is a freak of nature. 15 touchdowns last year, almost 1,300 yards, about 90 catches, and that he's just somebody that it doesn't matter if you double or triple team or whatever, he's going to get the ball. Mahomes is going to find him, and he's going to get his points. And then number 2, Devontae Adams. Just because if Rodgers was there, I would have him at number 1. But since we don't know for sure if Rodgers is going to be there yet or not, I have him at number 2. 115 catches, almost 1,400 yards, and 18 touchdowns last year, which is insane, most in the league. And he's by far, to me, the best wide receiver overall in football. And then, so I have him at 2. And then number 1, I think he's going to take an even higher step than what he did last year. and number one's going to be Stephon Diggs. He's coming into his own. I think he really found himself in Buffalo. Him and Josh Allen have a connection that could be a force to reckon with for years to come in this league, and he could also potentially be the number one overall wide receiver in the NFL. So.
All right, Nate, can I go
first?
All right, you go first. Damn it.
I have some questions.
So first things first, I really hope that Diggs is the number one wide receiver since I just traded for him. That'd be pretty sweet. I think you have Brown too low, Jefferson too high, and I would definitely put Hill over Adams given the current situation. I would put Hill and Hopkins over Adams given the current quarterback situation in Green Bay. And the reason being for that is you mentioned that Hopkins is his veteran leader now and all that. Hopkins is still a baller. Hopkins beat Buffalo. Don't forget about the Hail Mary.
Right. Here's my thing on Adams. Okay, if Rodgers isn't the quarterback, he's not getting as many touchdowns. Simply because Rodgers will throw the ball in between a
dime size opening,
even less, and
well,
no Devontae's going to be able to catch it. Where Love or Bortles, they're not going to throw.
We don't
that
know.
ball.
Love could pop off like Patrick Mahomes did.
I still think Adams is going to get volume without Rodgers.
Volume, yes, he'll get.
In a PPR league, Adams is still a top 4 wide receiver.
But that's why I still think he's a little high in Logan's rankings, is because, yes, you'll be top 4, top 5, but without those touchdowns, he's not top 2. If Rodgers plays,
I would put him 4.
Okay. I think Allen Robinson is grossly underrated and too low in your rankings.
I do too.
With horrible quarterbacks. You want to talk about horrible quarterbacks throwing you the ball. And he's always top 7 in fantasy football. Always. This man is consistent. Every time, if he is on the field, he is consistent. And he should be, I think, top 6. I think Jefferson's too high. And I know you guys will poop on me for this, but I think Scary Terry's too high. I think he's in the 11, 12 range.
You have him with the Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper, Mike Evans range?
In that range.
Yeah.
Which, again, wide receiver is so freaking deep.
I mean, think about this. I mean, wide receiver 35 is Will Fuller. I mean, that's how it shows you how deep that is. Right. That's almost a wide receiver 2 in some leagues.
I think Scary Terry will score more touchdowns.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he'll have as many yards.
Well, so here's why I don't necessarily I disagree. I think that Allen Robinson, I agree with you, should be top 6. And I think that Jefferson is probably somewhere around the 8 range.
Mm-hmm.
McLaurin, I would put Metcalf 10 and McLaurin stay at 9. And the reason why is Ryan Fitzpatrick, as a quarterback, throws to the number 1 wide receiver. Look at what Devontae Parker did.
Yeah.
Look at what Mike Evans was able to do with Ryan Fitzpatrick as a quarterback. Ryan Fitzpatrick finds a way to get the ball to his number 1 target. And that is undoubtedly Terry McLaurin.
Yep. Which, I mean, and that's the thing,
I wouldn't be mad if McLaurin was at 11 or 12. He's anywhere between 9 and 15, I think, is a perfectly fair rating. And that just goes to show you the parity that is the wide receiver position.
Right. And so I'm interested to see who your 2 rookies are and also your sleeper.
Okay, so the rookies are a no-brainer. I think Jamar Chase is going to be an absolute beast, and I think he's going to have a better, well, not necessarily better, but just as good as the season as Justin Jefferson did last year. Maybe not enough to get the 1,400 yards, but he's going to be a game changer for that Bengals offense. Him and Joe Burrow already had that chemistry from college and what they did on the national championship year. So he's the number 1 rookie in my opinion. And then number 2, I'm gonna have to say Devontae Smith. You're not. I mean, there's 2 guys that I was
throwing him the ball.
That's my point. But at the end of the day, Devontae Smith is still gonna be able to run those routes. And he has crazy hands. He can do it all. I guess the size is a huge factor for him, but I think he can overcome that and I think Hurts will still be able to get them the ball.
So
I think Devontae Smith is going to be boom or bust. He's going to be Deshaun Jackson 2.0. He's going to either score you 50 points in fantasy or nothing.
Yep. I like Waddle, to be honest with you.
I like Waddle.
I like Elijah Moore. I think Elijah Moore for the Jets.
He was third on my list.
Yeah, I think he's going to do well. I think the Jets' offense can look very different this year.
So nobody thinks that highly. The kid from Minnesota,
Bateman?
Yeah,
I think he's good too.
Yeah, not in that offense.
It's Baltimore.
Not in that. Okay,
It's Baltimore. Yep. I just don't trust it.
I just but it's
you put him on any of our teams, I'd take him.
More than I do Bateman.
Okay, all right. And
I also like Rondale Moore sneakily. Yeah. I think he's going to be a gadget player in an offense that already has a lot of gadget players, and I think he's going to sneakily gain momentum. Same with Elijah Moore. I think the Jets are already kind of fed up with Jamison Crowder over the whole contract negotiation thing where they were trying to get him to take less money because of injury, and he finally did after weeks and weeks and weeks of negotiation.
I
think that Robert Saleh is going to come in and be like, well, I drafted Elijah Moore. I want him to be my slot guy.
I could see Elijah Moore, and I know he's a slot, right? But I mean, moving into that Justin Jefferson type of taking over his rookie year, being the number one guy. I always forgot the quarterback's name already, just targeting the hell out of Moore because of his ability to catch the ball in the slot. Okay. And I think that's important for rookie.
What's a rookie quarterback's favorite target? A tight end or a slot?
A slot, exactly.
So I have I had somebody, again, wide receiver is ridiculous. The rookie wide receivers, very talented this year.
Yeah.
I want to know is how close were you because you guys probably know more about this kid than I do, especially because he's on your team, but I think Dynamic Brown is going to be very special in that offense.
Yeah.
Oh, 1,000,000%.
Deep threat, he's fast, and I can't remember who said it. Somebody I saw on Twitter, I think it was a Redskins reporter or Washington Football Team reporter, but they said we have the potential to become the fastest offense in the NFL, which I would never believe you in a million years because we have never had anything like that as long as I've been alive.
Yeah.
Mark, by the end of the year, I think what's going to happen is you're going to see us line up with Logan Thomas at tight end, Terry McLaurin on the left, Diami Brown on the right, Curtis Samuel in the slot, and either Antonio Gibson or J.D. McKissick in the backfield. And that's scary.
Yeah.
Especially because PFF just took our offensive line number 3.
Right. So, but all right, who's your sleeper?
Okay, this one was also tough for me because is it okay if I say 3 guys or you tell me to stick with 1?
Yep. Just 1.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to say he came on. He was solid last year. Out of the blue, he was a second-round pick, and I think T. Higgins is going to be a beast this year.
I don't disagree.
Huh?
I said, yes, sir.
Yeah, the target share between Higgins, Chase, and Boyd, you're not going to know where the ball is going to go. So one of them's going to get something, and then the defense is going to key on that guy who's been getting 4 or 5 passes in a row, and then leave this one guy open for a big shot. And this T. Higgins, he's fast, he's good route running, and he's physical, and he can catch the ball. So I am really, really high on T. Higgins this year.
All right.
So he's my sleeper.
Okay. Just so you know, all reports from Bengals camp is he came in as a man this year.
Oh,
physically, and
was he a different gender last year?
Well, no, they said that he's bulked up.
Oh,
he's faster. He's added weight. He's faster. He can jump higher.
He was already fast as hell last year.
His footwork has even got improved.
DC could have a faster wide receiving core, but trust me, the Bengals wide receivers are fast.
I don't get Bengals defense could be ass, but I think this offense is going to win you 5-6 games, and if we could just, by outscoring you. And I think if they can actually have some sort of defense, they're going to be sleepy this year.
I've been saying that about Dallas all
but
year.
If your offense can stay on the field and just put together long, sustained drives, you guys will win.
Yeah, and my opinion also is I don't know if Nate will have him in his top 10. Actually, it's you, right?
Who?
Yeah, and I don't know where he's going to be ranked in Christian's ranks, but I think Mixon's going to be a beast this year. So
if he's healthy.
Yeah. So
if he's healthy.
On that, good transition there. So Christian's got running backs. So
all right.
good, deep position, but I
Yeah.
think the top 10 is probably easy, but where you ranked them is probably going to be interesting.
I think the running backs is easier than I thought. I thought it was going to be tougher going in. The rankings are rough because to me, 8 of these, I feel every single one of these you take as an RB1. Every single one. In a 10-team league, obviously.
Yeah.
But like, I don't see a difference sometimes between 10 and 1. I know there is, but these are really good running backs. So this wasn't too hard for me.
Just so you know, when he said, I know there is, he rolled his eyes. So he did do that whole thing.
Well, there is a difference between 10 and 1. We know this. But I'm saying you wouldn't be mad to get number 10 on your...
Zeke top 3.
You what?
I said it's because you have Zeke top 3.
I do not. So, at number 10...
Top 2.
Yeah, he didn't say top 1, though. So at number 10, I have Cam Akers. I think he took over last year as their starting running back for that team. I think he's made leaps and bounds. He's ranked number 9 right now for running backs in the draft, and I think 10 is a solid place to put him.
Okay.
At 9, I have Nick Chubb. The reason I put Nick Chubb there is because, once again, he averages right about there every year, but I've been waiting to see if Kareem Hunt takes away yards from him and points from him in fantasy, and he has yet to do that. He's still right there all the time. Okay. Do you guys want to stop, or you want me to just keep going like Logan did?
Keep going like Logan did, because...
Are you waiting to hear a certain name?
I'm waiting to hear who...
I really don't like this.
Yeah, I'm with Nate. I already disagree. So
that's fine.
They're in the top 10, but I don't think...
You don't like the order.
Right.
So at number 8, I have Jonathan Taylor. I think Jonathan Taylor, again, just like I said by Cam Akers, came on and has solidified himself as the number 1 back. I can't remember their backup's name right now, but thank you.
And
they even
Mac.
I was reading today that even though Mac is back and they really, really enjoy having him, Jonathan Taylor is their number 1 bell cow going forwards. So I fully expect that. 7, Aaron Jones.
Okay.
I think Aaron Jones is a touchdown monster. Again, these are all, to me, somewhat the same with running back. Like, every single one of these people scores so many points that it just depends on where you put them. Aaron Jones, if Rodgers is there, I think does well. I think there's a chance if Rodgers doesn't play, he does even better.
Okay.
Because they're going to utilize him more being a younger quarterback.
Okay.
At number 6, I have Saquon. The reason I have Saquon there is, other than a year and a half of extremely talented running back play, we haven't seen him. He hasn't been on the field. He doesn't stay healthy. And I think not staying healthy is a huge question mark for putting him in a top 3 or 4 pick in your draft. Okay. I've seen him go as early as 2 and as late as 10, and I think that's appropriate. I have Zeke at 5. I think that's more than appropriate for him, being that he had a down year last year. His first 3 years in the league were top running back, though. So one down year, 1,000 yards isn't really a down year, but I think the guys ahead of him, you'd be stupid not to take in front of him versus him and Saquon. So at 4, I have Derrick Henry, and I think Henry's there mainly because of this being we all play points, we all play PPR.
Yeah.
His catches are lower, but there's also a chance that he also leads the scoring like he usually does.
Yeah.
3, I have Alvin Kamara. Now this is where it got tough for me. Out of Alvin Kamara and the other 2, you can probably already guess are on the list. I put Alvin Kamara here just because I think Dalvin Cook and CMC will have more yards than him. I have Dalvin Cook at 2 and CMC at 1. Okay. If CMC's healthy 100%, I don't see Mike Davis, who's not there anymore, taking runs from him.
Right. But they did draft that rookie. What is it, Williams from North Carolina?
I like him a lot, Michael Williams. I just don't know if that's going to be enough to take away CMC's catches, receptions, runs, everything he does.
Chuba Hubbard.
Oh, it's Chuba Hubbard. Sorry. You're right.
Okay.
And Chuba Hubbard's great. Chuba Hubbard's their big boy. He's like a Mike Davis, but I still think CMC is going to get 85% of the carries. Well, not quite that much. You know, majority of the carries as well.
All right. So you lower Saquon because of injury, but you don't lower CMC.
I didn't lower CMC because CMC was injured once. Saquon has only played 1 full season.
Okay.
I think there's a difference between 4 years with 3 of them being hurt versus 1 year of your 3 years being hurt. CMC has only had 1 injury, whereas every time they need Saquon on the field, he's never there.
Okay.
That's my only thing. But Saquon has the ability, like he has in his rookie year, to be a freaking number 1 running back. I just want to see it. It's one of those things I need to see you do it before I put you as taking you with my top 5 picks. I'd rather have the 5 guys I named over Saquon because you just don't know.
Okay. I'm going to go first here with 3 names that I think should be higher. I think Saquon, Chubb, and Jones all should be higher. I think Zeke is a top 10. I do not think he's top 5. That's just me. I think a year and a half, 2 years ago, second half of the year, he slowed down. Last year was a complete struggle for him.
I will say this, though. You're 100% right. The reason I put in there is because when our offensive line is healthier, meaning 4 of the 5 playing, he averages almost 100 yards a game.
I didn't see any effort from him last year.
I understand.
I didn't see any effort, and I think Pollard takes it.
Way too much. And,
yeah.
So that's why I move all 3 of those guys up. And I think Chubb is top 5. My opinion. I think
he was
Chubb
ranked
is
9. He was ranked 8th, so I had him at 9. Yeah,
I think he's a beast, though. Okay. I think everybody sleeps on him only because Kareem Hunt is there.
Yeah,
but I don't think he's the number 1 back there, and he's going to get the majority of the touches. And I tell you what, he's a beast. Aaron Jones, with Rodgers or without Rodgers, is going to be the number 1 back. The only thing I worry about is for him in the red zone. I think they are going to utilize A.J. Dillon a lot more.
Yeah.
Now, the touchdowns there.
I will say this before I let them go. This is off topic of what you said. Out of the 10 people I have here, I went over ESPN's top 30 running back list and did my math myself. Mine is close, although I moved players around. If you notice, there's only 1 player in the top 10 that they have ranked. I did not, and that's Austin Eckler. I didn't have Austin Eckler in my top 10 because I don't know if he's going to be able to do it.
Either.
Yeah, I don't have him there because I don't fully trust him in my top 10, and I moved Cam Akers into that spot.
Okay.
Cam Akers was 12th.
I'm not mad about Cam Akers being in the top 10. I think he will be.
I think he will be too. I think that offense is going to be a lot better under Stafford. What'd you say, Nate?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I go?
Yeah, go ahead, bud.
So, I am not on the Cam Akers train. I think he is the most overhyped before the season player I have seen in fantasy in a long time. He was a starter for 5 weeks. 4 of those weeks he scored double digits. 2 of those weeks he scored more than 15 points. 1 of them he only scored 23. 1 of the weeks he scored 7, and he also missed time. I do not understand the Cam Akers hype. I think he's a good running back. I think he has the potential to be top 15, top 12. But you brought in Matt Stafford to throw the football. Sean McVay throws the football. I think Cam Akers could get reception, sure. But Cam Akers isn't going to get the touchdowns down close. Not with Darnell Henderson.
Okay.
I do not understand the Cam Akers hype at all.
Okay,
I think, again, top 12, top 15, sure. Top 10, absolutely not.
Okay, so real quick, who goes into your top 10?
Antonio Gibson.
Okay. All right.
That's not me being a homer. That's him having almost as many yards as Zeke, over 1,000 yards total last year, 11 touchdowns, and he's in an offense with more weapons now. He has a top defense, so they're going to be running the ball a lot more to try to close out games. I just think it's a no-brainer, personally. I think, in based off Christian's rankings, I think Cook, I would put Cook 1 over CMC personally.
I say when CMC was healthy, though. I say now this is hard because CMC wasn't healthy last year, but when he is healthy, his numbers and catches are. I don't know the exact numbers, but I'm sure Dalvin Cook's last year healthy and CMC's last year healthy. I bet they're probably 30 points off in fantasy, 25, 30 points.
Okay.
I could be wrong.
Alvin Kamara is going to get more touches than any running back.
He probably will. He probably will.
So, but all right. So
wait, Logan didn't go.
Michael Thomas and Kamara. So.
Okay.
So go ahead, Logan.
Jones is actually appropriately ranked, Mark. I will disagree with you there.
Okay. All right. And who are your sleepers?
Did Logan want to talk about that before I go? He didn't say anything.
Sorry, Logan.
Yeah, the Cam Akers thing, I agree with him on that. I think this should be higher. I think Taylor could be. Where do you have Taylor? 7 or 8?
8.
I think he should be at least 6, in my opinion. He's towards the end of the year, he was showing he is becoming that bell cow that Indianapolis needs to have behind that offensive line, and he will be a top 5 running back in this league. But other than that, your list is pretty solid to me. Cook over CMC, and then Nick Chubb, he's top 4. I mean, I'm a big Nick Chubb fan, and he's just a beast. Like, you can't go wrong with Nick Chubb.
The hardest part about, other than Cam Akers, obviously, I mean, I think he's still talented. 9 through 1 are all going to get 90% of the carries on their teams except for Chubb, obviously, because Kareem Hunt's there. But that doesn't mean he's not talented. I think you could put Chubb at 2 and not argue it. You could put Dalvin Cook at 5 and not argue it. You could put CMC at 6. Like, all these players are so talented that there isn't a drop-off like tight end was. After 4, you had the hardest job of it all, finding 6 more tight ends that were relevant in fantasy football. My job, which was tough with running back, was you have 10. That's easy. Now what order do you put them in? Because any one of these could be the number 1 scoring running back this year.
Okay.
Now,
who are your rookies?
So my rookies, this was easy. You made me pick 2, and when you said just 1 rookie, I was like, damn. So my number 1 rookie in fantasy, I think at the moment, is Najee Harris.
Okay.
I'm going with him first, and then ETN I have as 2. And the reason I have ETN as 2 is because James Robinson's there, and I think they're going to have some sort of sharing of roles. I think ETN will get a lot of the catches out of the backfield, swing routes, stuff like that. But I think Najee Harris is going to get the bulk of the carries. I think week 1 he's going to get thrown into like Zeke was his rookie year, or Derrick Henry. I think he's going to be the bell cow. I think he's going to be 20, 25 carries a game for Pittsburgh. Okay. At least. I think he's going to get...
People's dynasty going to run behind. That's my thing.
Yeah, they don't really have a line to run behind, but out of the rookies, I think he could have a better year because he's going to be on the field more than ETN.
Okay.
I don't think it matters with Najee Harris either, though.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. I think
he's a great running back.
Yeah. And who's your...
But Logan said Michael Carter. Sorry. My only problem with Michael Carter is I don't trust any Jets running back because you have Tevin Coleman, Michael Carter, Ty Johnson, and they have the offensive coordinator for the San Francisco 49ers that used 22 running backs in one season.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like Michael Carter a lot. I think he's somebody in a deep league you could have for a PPR because he's going to get receptions. But in a 10-team PPR league, he's not draftable, in my opinion.
No.
And my sleeper is Antonio Gibson.
Okay.
That's my sleeper. I think he deserves to be in the top 10. I think he's right there. The only reason I didn't put him there is probably could have put him in over Cam Akers. They were the 2 I struggled with. And the only thing is, I think with Antonio Gibson having the yardage he did, I still do think I can't think of the other running back he was competing with. I don't want to say competing. He had the clearly starting job.
Okay.
But I think adding some more weapons might make them throw the ball a tad bit more, and it could take a little bit away from him. But I could see Antonio Gibson easily being a top 5 running back in fantasy. Okay. I don't have any question with that.
So 2 names that aren't on the list that probably would have been in mind. Yes, Mixon and Swift.
Yep. So Swift for me would have been right out. I think I had him at 13 because I did my list of 15. And Mixon, the problem is another one is health. I had him similar to Saquon. To him and Saquon are very similar to me, where they haven't played full seasons,
okay.
And he still might not be 100% to go week 1. So that if we're drafting week 1,
Mixon's going to be a dog this year.
I think he will too. But if we're talking pre-draft rankings, you're not going to take a number 1 running back if he may not play week 1.
All right, and Josh Jacobs. That's the only other one. Is he in your top 15?
He was 14.
Okay, because I don't have him in my top 10.
Yeah, I have him as 14.
But
I have Gibson at 11. So think about that. So Mixon was there too.
What about David Montgomery?
Right outside.
No, flash in a pan.
Right outside. I have him like 17. Oh, yeah. I do.
100%. He played the last 6 weeks of the season when he went off. He played against the 6th worst defense against the run.
Yep. And if they get Fields starting, Fields is going to run the ball a lot more and might take away opportunities. Yep. Instead of getting a run for 10 yards,
and
the quarterback will take
Cohen
it.
Back.
Yep.
The last 6 weeks they didn't have Tariq Cohen. They also signed Damian Williams.
And if you guys forget,
when
Tariq Cohen played last, when he was fully healthy for a full season, he's a PPR monster. And Chicago loves him. They've given him year after year after year of injury. He's still there.
Okay.
There's a reason he's still there.
All right. So that leaves us with Nate going with quarterbacks. So unless you guys have any questions on the running backs still,
no.
But let's go. Nate, top 10 quarterbacks.
Okay, so I'm doing this list based off of Rodgers and Watson playing for the teams that they are currently on.
Okay.
Which means Rodgers is in Green Bay and Watson's in Houston.
Okay.
Number 10, I have Tom Brady.
All right.
He was ranked 7th last year. I think that he's another year older, let's be real. He said it on HBO. His career is coming to an end. But I still think with all those weapons, he's a top 10 quarterback. Number 9, I have Ryan Tannehill. With exactly where he was ranked last year.
Okay.
Any questions, or shall I keep going?
Keep going.
No, I like that so far.
All right, number 8, I have Russell Wilson. He was ranked 5th last year at the end of the season. I think 8 is more than appropriate for him. I don't think he's a top 5 quarterback. I agree with Mark. He may put up fantasy numbers, but yeah, I know that.
Fantasy and real life are different, though.
But I think 8 is a perfect spot for him. I know he has weapons and everything, but I just think 8's good. Number 7, I have Deshaun Watson. He was the number 4 quarterback last year. I know that he lost Will Fuller. He still has Brandon Cooks. He has David Johnson. He has Mark Ingram. He's got weapons, but Deshaun Watson doesn't need weapons. He's one of those rare talents in the NFL that's going to make something happen out of nothing, and he's going to find the open person regardless of who it is. I mean, he hasn't had a tight end since he's been in the league, and Texans ranked in the top 15 in tight end touchdowns since he's been in the league.
Yeah.
Number 6, person I was completely, utterly wrong about, and I hate to eat my words, especially when it comes to Christian, but Justin Herbert.
Okay.
Justin Herbert was an 8th-grade quarterback last year. I think 1 year more in the league, you start to understand defenses a little better. Sure, they have more tape on you, but I think Justin Herbert's a beast. I absolutely, I can't believe that I like him, but I do.
He is really talented.
Number 5, this one hurts my soul yet again, but Dak Prescott. I think if Dak Prescott's healthy, that offense is going to be one of the most potent in the NFL. He's got more weapons than he knows what to do with, and I think he'll find the open person, still rush for 400 or 500 yards, a couple of touchdowns. So I have Dak Prescott there. My top 4, I've got Kyler Murray at number 4. He was a 6th-ranked quarterback last year. I just see the additions they made with Rondell Moore and A.J. Green. They brought in James Conner. They still have Chase Edmonds. They bolstered their defense. I just, it's the 3rd year in the offense. I don't see any reason why Kyler Murray can't take a step.
Improve the offensive line, too.
So I have him at number 4. Number 3, I have... So my top 3, it's actually funny that I ranked them 1, 2, 3. Because in fantasy last year, they were ranked 1, 2, and 3, but reverse. So number 3, I have Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
Number 1 fantasy quarterback last year, NFL MVP, absolute beast. Everybody knows what he can do.
Yes.
Number 2, I have Josh Allen. I think another year with Diggs, another year in the offense, another year just understanding. They pass the ball more than any team in the NFL. They don't have a running back. I think they're just going to be pass heavy, and Josh Allen's going to do what he does. Again, someone I was wrong about. Going into last year, I thought he was going to be a bust. I didn't see it. They brought in Stephon Diggs, and Josh Allen turned into a superstar. And, I love Josh Allen's game. And number 1, I got to go with my boy Patty Mahomes.
All right, can I go first, please?
Go ahead.
This is a great list, but I have one question because I've been following it. Where do you have Lamar Jackson ranked for fantasy?
I actually have him at 11.
Okay. The only reason I was asking is I was looking for names as you went, and it's pretty close to most people's top 10, but I was like, okay, he's at 3. Hadn't said Lamar at 2. Okay, and then only Patrick Mahomes. I was like, so you have Lamar outside your top 10, even though we all agree we don't think he's the best quarterback, but in fantasy, I don't know where he finished last year with points.
He finished 11.
He did finish 11. Okay. So yeah. I wasn't sure, because I know he does score a lot and makes a lot with his legs, so I just wanted to put that out there. I was surprised not to see his name.
The only, I think you have Tannehill too low, and I think you have Kyler Murray too high.
I think Kyler's
too low.
I think Tannehill's too low. I think Tannehill's going to be a top 6, top 5 fantasy quarterback this year.
I think Kyler 4 is a little high too.
I didn't want to put, to be honest with you, this probably was a little bit of prejudice. I did not want to put Dak Prescott at 4. I just didn't.
It's fantasy, though. I won't take offense.
The reason why, though, is last year, yes, he was on pace to break passing records, but he had 9 touchdowns and 4 interceptions in 4 games.
Because he threw the ball way too much.
He was on pace for 16 interceptions.
It's a lot. It's not Jameis Winston, but...
so it's like he had a lot of turnovers, and I don't think that it was his fault. I think the offensive line was depleted. Their defense was terrible. I don't want to sound like a Dak apologist because I, by any stretch of the imagination,
Nate, you're so sweet.
But I think Dak Prescott actually showed me something last year that I didn't think I was ready to see. With Kyler Murray, I just think that there's too many weapons for him to not be successful.
Okay. I mean, I just think, like, 4 is a little high. Like, I wouldn't put Tannehill at 4. I'd probably put Dak at 4. Kyler at 5 or 6, and Tannehill at 5 or 6. The rest of your list, I'm like, the names in your list, I'm 100% with. I think and I'm one of the biggest sleepers on Tannehill.
Yeah.
And we all know that. Like, I don't praise Tannehill for anything.
Now,
but I do think he's a little low.
I want to say this too: is I agree with his list.
A.J. Brown was healthy last year. Ryan Tannehill was a second-ranked quarterback in picks.
Yeah,
right.
I also like your listing. Like I said, the only thing I would probably do is what you had Kyler at 3. Is that what it was? 4, and then Dak at 5. I would probably switch them, move Tannehill up a little bit. But the only thing for me is I worry if I did this ranking, which is why I didn't want to. I worry about year 2 of Herbert if he makes that next step. Sometimes they don't, and I had him closer to 10. But I still think he deserves to be up there. But I think overall, I think that's a solid list.
Okay.
Because this is fantasy-wise.
Herbert finished 8 last year.
Yeah.
I figure he takes a step forward.
Yeah.
He gets more familiarity with Keenan Allen. Mike Williams is fully healthy, even though we all know he's going to be injured by week 2.
Yeah.
And Austin Eckler's healthy.
And Austin Eckler wasn't healthy for most of last year either for them. Not most, but a good portion of it.
So who are your rookies?
Well, just real quick, just so we all understand, if Rodgers and Watson don't play, number 9 would be Lamar, and number 10 would be Joe Burrow.
Okay.
What do you think where would Matt Stafford fall?
Matt Stafford actually falls right behind Joe Burrow, and then Kirk Cousins right after him.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see any of them being switched.
You read off your list, which I agree with. It was a great list. We pretty much had an identical list. I didn't have Watson in mind, so I substituted Stafford in for Watson.
You had Stafford in that high, or did you just move him up?
I moved him up. Stafford was number 10 on my list.
All right.
See, I have Stafford at 12.
Okay, that's fair.
And I am going to make a statement right now. I will say this. I believe in both leagues that Austin is in, will be drafting Matthew Stafford again as his quarterback. Because
and Big Ben. He will get both of them.
Who was the wide receiver? Who was the tight end? Did he
tight
retire
end,
from Minnesota?
No, he's on the Giants now.
He's going to draft it.
Yes, Kyle Rudolph. He will have Kyle Rudolph
and
Matt Stafford on his team. But
he is more than welcome to.
Yes, and
I might take Matthew Stafford if I wait on quarterbacks. I don't think that's a bad idea.
No,
in a 12-team, 10-team league.
But who are your rookies?
So from mine, quarterback is kind of like, damn, you gotta pick the top guys, I guess. I think they put a lot of weapons around Trevor Lawrence. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
He's got Marvin Jones, DJ Chark, LaVisca Chenault,
two great running backs.
Robinson, Travis Etienne. He's got a good front 7 on defense. He's got a decent offensive line. Question mark is tight end. Logan said Tebow. I just that's the one thing that I worry about. But I think Trevor Lawrence is going to be a stud. He reminds me a lot of Andrew Luck.
Okay.
Just finds a way to do it.
Yep.
My next rookie. This was hard because I love Lance. I really do. Something about watching his tape just reminded me of Josh Allen. But honestly, this is probably just spiteful towards the group chat. Justin Fields.
Okay.
If he starts, I think he can be a very good quarterback.
He got crapped on way too much because he's an Ohio State quarterback. He doesn't throw the ball anything like Dwayne Haskins. Doesn't play the game anything like R.J. Barrett. Doesn't do anything like Terrell Pryor. He is unlike any quarterback that's come out of that college.
Yeah,
he's incredibly accurate. He targets the number 1 wide receiver, which is why I think Allen Robinson was too low on Logan's list. I like Fields, and he's going to beat out Dalton. At some point in the season, whether it be before the season or week 3, he's going to beat him out.
I think there's a potential.
He's going to be talking about week 3.
Yeah, I think there's a potential that he'll end up finishing as a second rookie quarterback behind Lawrence. But if he doesn't start by week 3 or 4 or 5, I think the kid, the Jets kid, will end up having more points finishing second.
Okay.
But Fields has to start.
I don't trust Zach Wilson in that offense because, yes, they've done a lot of things, but it's so many new pieces at one time. And a new offensive coordinator and a new head coach. It's just too much new, in my opinion.
We'll have to see.
Don't sleep on Mac Jones.
If he starts.
I'm going to sleep on him.
Yeah, I'm going to sleep on him for now, though.
But Nate's track record of hating quarterbacks is not very good.
Yeah, he did hate Dak and he did hate Herbert.
So, all right. So, who is your sleeper?
I hate that you're making me pick one because I have two.
Just say them both. We'll let you. We got a few minutes.
Okay. So my two sleepers are. I know I'm gonna get crap for this.
Don't.
Are Tua and Carson Wentz.
Oh, I thought he was going to say Fitzpatrick. I was going to get the hell off this couch and walk away.
Okay. I agree with Wentz.
I'm not that guy.
I know. I agree with Wentz. Yeah.
I agree with Wentz. I don't think Tua finishes as a top 20.
Ooh. I was going to say top 15.
I think Tua has so many weapons. Devontae Parker, Preston Williams, Jalen Waddell, Myles Gaskin.
Gesicki.
They got a good offensive line, two young tackles, top defense. I think if Tua doesn't succeed, if Tua's not a top 15 quarterback, he's not meant for the NFL.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought you were going to... I agree with your Carson Wentz take, but I thought you were going to say Baker or Tua, honestly.
No, I don't... Baker, I had Baker on my team last year. He finished 19th. And they get OBJ back, but Baker's a better quarterback statistically without OBJ in the line.
Yeah, and I don't think that offense is geared towards a top fantasy quarterback.
No, they run the ball far too much. Even with their wide receivers, they run the ball. Jarvis Landry had like 120 rushing yards last year.
Yeah, so I don't see Baker in there. I'm big on. I think Cousins is going to have I think Cousins is going to have a Cousins year.
He's always, top 12 around there somewhere?
13th ranked quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think he's going to have 4,000-plus yards, 20 to 30, 25, 30 touchdowns, 5-6 interceptions, and I think that's solid...
that would be a hell of a year if he had 30 touchdowns and 5 interceptions.
But that's
what he does, though.
That's what he does.
Yeah,
if you look at his interception rate, he doesn't throw a lot of interceptions.
I don't pay enough attention to Kirk Cousins.
On the Facebook post, I put him in my list. If Kirk Cousins won a Super Bowl... There's no way people could look at him like Joe Flacco.
Well, see, that's what I was, because that post, I'm glad that people responded to it. I disagreed, and yes, Lamar will get that credit, but I think Lamar,
I think Lamar winning it, I don't know if he'll take that next step in people's minds, but I think Stafford, Dak, I think
Stafford cements his legacy with a championship. And I think Stafford, I will say, because
Stafford becomes a Hall of Famer with the Super Bowl.
I think he's already a Hall of Famer. To be honest with you, I really do. I just feel like he cements his legacy as a top quarterback of his generation.
I agree.
And that's where I look at it is like he cements it. The others, it's sort of like Kirk Cousins. Yep. It will cement the fact that he was slept on.
Yeah.
And he is a championship quarterback. Yep. You could do it with him. I think, if Dak wins a Super Bowl, he doesn't become just a fantasy quarterback, which I've called him numerous times.
Or just not a leader, or that he can't do it.
Right.
He can finally do it.
And then, but those are...
the Super Bowl, I will cry tears of pure agony.
It's coming, man.
But it's like those are like those names that you all mentioned. It's like, yes. And I think Stafford is the only one on there that he cements it as being one of the best of the decade, where his name isn't forgotten about, where in all reality, when people talk about the top 5 quarterbacks, Marino's name is hard for people to mention.
Yeah.
And it's because he doesn't have that ring.
Yeah. Marino's a better quarterback than Aikman was.
That's just like that conversation Mark and I were having the other week about Marino and Hall of Fame and not having a ring.
Yeah. And
like I said, Aikman is worse than Marino, and
Aikman to me, if he only had one, would be Joe Flacco.
But as a Dallas fan, his numbers are.
But he has
He was
3.
a game manager.
He was game numbers are very subpar.
Which is, but he has 3.
Yeah.
So he's one of the best. Like, he led one of the best teams.
And what we'll have to do is we'll have to comment on the Facebook page because we did just quarterbacks.
Here's my question.
Yep.
Donovan McNabb, right? Donovan McNabb. Everybody knows who he is.
Who's that?
Super Bowl appearance, 3 NFC Championship game appearances, never won anything. Better numbers than Aikman by far. And Troy Aikman's lauded, but Donovan McNabb's not, because he couldn't, quote-unquote, get his team over the hump when 2 of those years they had a bottom-feeding defense.
Yep.
That star does everything on that helmet.
I think McNabb is one of those quarterbacks that people forget about how good he was for how long. Like, the Eagles won, I think after they won the NFC Championship so many years in a row, and then all of a sudden it's every other team's winning the AFC Championship, NFC East, and I'm
they were the last team to repeat.
Yes.
Yeah, they were.
And
what,
I think
6,
I think he is slept on as quarterbacks in the league, and I mean,
and he took them to an NFC Championship game, not even winning the NFC East.
Right. Yeah. Andy Reid was the coach. They had really good, but
that team was dirty.
It was. I agree, and so. I mean, anybody that wants to comment, anybody that wants to talk. I mean,
yeah.
I want to give a shout out to Kyle. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Kyle, for 1, for listening, and 2, for joining the Wet Booty League.
Yes, sir.
Good luck to you this year. And I know your boy Dylan, Dylan Drennan. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is correct.
I know he's joining Wet Booty this year, so
Wet Booty.
Let's get some things going, and we're looking forward to fantasy football drafts. If anybody has any questions at all or any disagreements with our list, please comment on our Facebook page and we'll bring them up. Hit us up.
Got a lot more fantasy football coming y'all's way.
Yep. Nate and Logan, look forward to seeing you guys soon. August 28th is right around the corner. That's our League of Extraordinary Legends fantasy draft.
Finally, you said Legends. It's been a while.
We will be doing that, and we might do an hour or so Facebook Live A.D.D. show for you guys that day also.
Yeah.
So everybody can see the guys, and we can get this thing going. So, guys, thank you so much as always for joining us. Had a blast, and we're going to talk to you guys soon.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
Not a problem.
See you guys.
All right.
Yep.
Have a good one.
See you guys. Bye.
Well, that was fun, my friend.
Yes.
We will go ahead and once again shout out Leeks Sweets again on this episode.
Yeah.
Sponsoring us once again. Just so you guys know, you can find us in the description, him in the description. Please go get them cupcakes, man. He's got pictures of them things now. They look absolutely bomb.
That strawberry shortcake just made my mouth water.
Got a list here: vanilla, chocolate peanut butter, strawberry shortcake, almond coconut, banana split. Yes, you heard me right. PB&J maple bacon. I can't wait to try that one. He's got an Oreo with chocolate or golden cake. DM him, get some information. Go pick yourself up some cupcakes because they are absolutely delicious.
Yes.
Anything else, Mark?
No, I'm good. We're not going to do hot clocks today. Hot cakes. So we were talking about cupcakes there. So we're not going to do a hot clock today because we were running a little long with the 2 guests. So everybody have a good week, and we'll talk to you next week.
See you guys.